You may not see a note from Samsung again, but contrary to reports, it's not dead. At least yet. Just that Samsung is calling it the S22 Ultra now. With S22 Ultra, Samsung has combined the features of two of its most selling flagship series. The S22 Ultra comes with the best camera that Samsung has to offer and combines it with the S Pen experience that we have for long associated with the Note series. Now this is still priced at Rs 1,10,000, which puts the S22 Ultra in the league of iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. Certainly this is not the phone for everyone, but then no flagship is. I've been using the S22 Ultra for more than a week now as my daily driver, and I'm pretty excited to talk about it because there are a lot of things to be excited about this phone and a few letdowns too. Let's have a detailed look. You're watching Fiiber, I am Manas, and this is a review of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. First things first, the S22 Ultra is an ultra smartphone in every sense. It's also more Note than an S22. In my first impression, I mentioned that this phone reminds me a lot of the Note 20 Ultra, and after spending more than a week with this device, I can further confirm that. This is what the Note 22 Ultra had been if it was ever launched. The S22 Ultra brings every design element we ever associated with the Note series. Square top and bottom frame, boxy body, less noticeable camera bump, large display, curved screen on the sides, and a dedicated slot to put the S Pen. It's a solid phone that I'm truly in love with. The metal frame feels premium, the buttons have great feedback, and the rear panel does not catch any fingerprint smudges at all. The new camera bump, or rather the lack of it, is kind of weird. I mean, this design sort of looks weird in the beginning, but it eventually grows on you, and by now I'm kind of okay with it. The only challenge is to keep these camera lenses clean. I mean, pick up this phone at any point of the day and you will still find some dust around the camera lenses. Since the side frame is thicker than the Note 20 Ultra, the phone offers a more assuring grip. It's less slippery even on the surface. Samsung is selling this phone in 3 color variants in India: burgundy, black and white. All of them look beautiful. Still, I'm low-key disappointed that there is no red or sky blue variant in the country. They look beautiful in images. Hope Samsung brings them to India at some point. The phone weighs 229 grams. While the weight is very evenly distributed, it is still big and heavy. The S22 Ultra is protected by Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on both sides, is rated IP68 and has an armor aluminum frame. All of this should be able to protect the phone in most scenarios. It's important because you don't get any protective case inside the retail box. Well, one strange thing, you get the same black colored S Pen in all the color variants. I'm not sure why Samsung did it, but it definitely looks weird. If I'm asked to pick one reason to recommend the S22 Ultra to anyone, it would be the gorgeous display. It looks absolutely brilliant, and it's not even surprising. I mean, Samsung has always been known for making great displays in any price category, and it's surprising that it keeps improving those panels even when there is little scope to. On the S22 Ultra, it has used a high quality OLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate support, and it's an LTPO display, which means that the refresh rate can go as low as 1 Hz to optimize the battery performance. Of course, the display is huge. It's a 6.8-inch 1440p, 2K panel, which is excellent. Everything looks buttery smooth. Scrolling on this phone is so satisfying that I can do it for hours. The major improvement this year comes in terms of peak brightness. Samsung has upped the brightness to 750 nits, and the display looks brighter for sure. I mean, it's more readable under direct sunlight. The visuals look stunning. The colors are rich and vibrant. They're usually on the warm side, but that doesn't really bother. The display is supported well by the loudspeakers. There is always a lot of hype and fanboyism around the S Pen, but let's be honest here. There was only little scope for Samsung to further improve the performance of the S Pen. I mean, the S Pen on the Note 20 Ultra could already be used to control your camera or other apps, and even the latency was pretty fine. So it only made sense that the S Pen is sold as part of a bigger package with the S series, and to be honest, you may see Samsung extend the support to other phones as well, most notably the foldables. The S Pen on the S22 Ultra brings all the features it has always been known for. You can simply take it out and start taking notes even without unlocking the phone. In the pre-COVID world, with in-person meetings and briefings, this was very useful. So probably the timing also works for Samsung as life is getting back to normal. Then there's the ability to scribble on screenshot with screen write, click pictures using air command, and control apps like gallery and music player using Bluetooth and gestures. These are good features to flaunt, but I don't see too many people using them on a daily basis. If you do let me know in the comment section. Samsung has incredibly improved the performance of S Pen by reducing the latency by nearly 70%. The last time I used it on the Note 20 Ultra, the latency was already down to 9 milliseconds, which felt quite real time, and now it has been further reduced to 2.8 millisecond. I doubt if Samsung can further improve it, so it will be interesting to see when the next generation phones come, whether this latency further goes down or not. Samsung always bets big on cameras with the S series, and that's again the case here. The hardware doesn't change as much from last year's S21 Ultra, but you still get few changes which improve the overall performance of the camera. Now what I've done is I've made a separate video on S22 Ultra's camera where I've reviewed all the features in detail, so do go and check that out on Fiiber, and let's move on with the review now. The fact that all of Samsung's advertisements for the S22 series in India highlighted the presence of a Qualcomm chip in this phone shows how big a deal this was for the company as well as for the customers. As a reviewer, I have complained in the past too. We have seen that Samsung's Exynos chips have always let down its flagship phones, and even this year, in countries where the S22 series has launched with the Exynos series, a lot of reviewers are facing performance related issues. So it's actually good to see a Snapdragon chip on this phone, that to the latest flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It comes with 12 GB of RAM and up to 256 GB of onboard storage. I'm kind of fine with Samsung skipping the 8 GB RAM option in India, but sort of disappointed with the onboard storage only being restricted to 256 GB, given that this phone does not have a dedicated micro SD card slot. Beyond this, the Galaxy S22 Ultra has everything you want in a flagship phone. It supports 5G, Bluetooth 5.2, features a Type-C USB charging port, and is more fluid than any Samsung phone I have used in the past. There was not a single stutter or lag I faced while using the phone. As I said before, scrolling is fun, apps load quickly, and multitasking is quite seamless. The phone can handle any game you throw at it. It does get warm after about 40 to 45 minutes of gaming or after 15 to 20 minutes of using the camera app, but it's nothing alarming unless you're using the space zoom feature in the camera. That's when the phone gets really warm, but honestly, I've seen a lot worse on the Samsung phones in the past. The software brings a lot of bloatware. For some reason, Samsung only wants you to use its apps for everything. As a result, you get a lot of unwanted apps on the device. Otherwise, I didn't come across any bugs. Also, Samsung is giving 4 years of software updates on the S22 Ultra, one more than what Google is promising on its phone, so that's good news. Samsung came so close to making a perfect Android smartphone, only to mess up with the battery. Now this one still comes with a decent sized 5000 mAh battery inside, but the battery backup or the performance isn't that great. I leave home with 100% battery at 9 AM, and by the time I get back at around 8 PM, the battery is down to only 20%. This is when I'm using the phone on adaptive refresh rate and at QHD plus resolution. If I switch to full HD plus resolution, even then the battery goes down from 100 to 27% in just 11 hours. And I mean, I've been using it as my primary phone, so I receive a lot of emails on this. There are a lot of applications running in the background, and that's how most people are going to use a flagship phone. So the maximum you can expect out of the S22 Ultra in terms of battery is about 15 to 16 hours of battery, even with normal usage, and that's kind of disappointing. I've seen the phone drain the battery like anything on certain occasions. For example, it went down from 93% to about 57% during a 40-minute Zoom call. Not ideal, but I think a cost that you have to pay for all those high-end features. Also, the phone only supports 45-watt wired charging, and then again, you don't get that compatible charger inside the box, so you'll have to pay extra to make use of those charging speeds. The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is the most complete Samsung phone ever. It comes with a premium design and built, best-in-class display, good camera performance, and on the fastest chips under the hood. The S Pen is more than a value add as well. If you can look beyond the bloatware and poor battery life, then there's hardly anything that this phone can't do, and it never disappoints you. The only question, as I said in my first impressions, you need to ask yourself is, how many of these things will you end up doing? You need to ask yourself, will you be shooting 8K videos on a daily basis, or how frequently will you make use of that 100x SpaceX zoom, or is S Pen actually something you need in your life? Because there's a premium attached to this phone. It's not a very affordable or value for money device. And if the answer is yes, if you're gonna make use of all these technologies, then definitely this is a phone worth spending on. If not, then I think there are a lot of other alternatives in the market right now that cost almost half as the S22 Ultra. 3 things that we liked about the S22 Ultra. First has to be the best-in-class display. Second are the rear cameras, they are really good. And third is, of course, the S Pen. It's good to have it. 3 things that I did not like about this phone. First is the battery life. It's really poor, unacceptable. Second of all is that it can really get warm. And third is the size is not, again, for everyone. It's quite big and heavy. Our rating, Fiiber's rating for Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is 8.5 out of 10. Let us know if you like this review.